Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are completely bypassing the ordinary. We're jumping straight into the extreme, sometimes absolutely terrifying, and sometimes miraculous lottery of human genetics. We're going to explore how tiny, and I mean microscopic, alterations in our DNA blueprint can completely rewrite what it actually means to be human.
So I want you to put yourself in this scenario for a second. Imagine you're climbing a really high tree. You lose your footing and you take a terrifying fall. Or, maybe you're playing sports and you just completely collide with someone at full speed. Everyone around you panics, expecting shattered limbs. But you? Well, you simply stand up, shake it off, and walk away. When doctors look at your x-rays, there isn't a single fracture. No way, right? It sounds like pure fiction. But as you'll see today, for some people, it's an absolute biological reality.
Let's dive right into Section 1, Real-Life Genetic Superpowers.
We often think of superpowers as something straight out of a comic book, but the mechanism behind an unbreakable skeleton is very real. It all comes down to mutation in the LRP5 gene. This genetic alteration basically causes your bones to be 3 times denser than an average human's. Your skeleton essentially functions like reinforced concrete. While others break under pressure, you just absorb it. But, as with anything, biological durability comes with some really bizarre trade-offs. If you have this mutation, your bones are so incredibly dense that you literally sink like a stone in water. And if you ever get a simple cavity, dentists will burn right through their drills just trying to treat your teeth.
Okay, let's look at another extraordinary ability: time. Imagine hitting the pillow at midnight and waking up at 4 in the morning feeling completely energized. No alarm, no grogginess, no desperate need for that morning coffee. While the rest of the world is fast asleep, you've already crushed a workout, organized your week, and cleared your entire inbox before the sun even comes up. You aren't forcing this productivity either. Your body simply doesn't require the downtime. A super rare mutation in your DEC2 gene makes your sleep cycles insanely efficient, compressing the standard 8 hours of deep REM restoration into just 4. So while everyone else spends a third of their life asleep, you effectively get an extra 20 years of waking reality. How crazy is that?
And how about the superpower of enhanced perception? 100 million. That's a huge number, right? Well, that is the exact number of colors you can see if you have a condition called tetrachromacy. Imagine finding yourself arguing with a friend over whether a wall is seafoam or mint, only to realize no one else can even see the difference. Where most people see 3 primary colors, your eyes possess a 4th cone cell. This extra receptor unlocks a whole new dimension of over 100 million colors that are just completely invisible to the average human eye. To you, a plain white wall isn't plain at all. It's a vast canvas of subtle gradients, shadows, and glowing hues. You literally live in a world painted in wavelengths no one else will ever see.
Finally, for this section, let's talk about sheer strength. Myostatin is this natural regulatory protein that basically tells your muscle fibers when to stop growing. But if you have a deficit of this protein, you're born with visible muscle definition instead of that normal, squishy baby fat. As you grow, building strength isn't something you even have to work for. It just happens automatically. It's really incredible. Without that natural limit, your muscle fibers expand freely. You end up looking like a professional athlete without ever touching a weight or drinking a single protein shake. You're basically living proof of a human body running on a totally unlocked power setting.
Moving right along to Section 2, Visually Striking Human Anomalies.
So genetics is a game of chance, right? And sometimes it fundamentally rewrites our biology in highly visible ways. Take methemoglobinemia, for instance. With this condition, your skin carries a distinctly cool bluish tint, almost as if you've been standing in freezing water. But here's the thing. You aren't sick, you aren't cold, and you aren't short of breath. Your blood is just chemically different. Due to an abnormal form of hemoglobin, your red blood cells bind to oxygen so tightly that they refuse to release it into your tissues normally. The result? A really striking violet-blue complexion across your skin, lips, and nail beds, made famous historically by the blue fugates of Kentucky. It's a completely harmless genetic signature that basically turns your bloodstream into a walking visual anomaly.
Then there's hypertrichosis. Imagine being born with more hair than most adults ever grow. Thick, dark strands cover your cheeks, your back, your arms, even your eyelids. As a child, you endure the stares and the cruel nicknames: werewolf, beast boy, myth. And all those things like shaving, waxing, and laser treatments, they're totally temporary. The hair always comes back. Researchers actually call this an atavism, which is basically a dormant genetic switch from humanity's ancient evolutionary past that just accidentally turned back on. You aren't sick at all. You're an evolutionary throwback walking that very thin line between biological anomaly and living folklore.
Let's see how this builds into even more profound structural changes. Imagine going to the doctor for a routine checkup. They place a stethoscope over the left side of your chest and hear absolute silence. After a brief moment of total panic and confusion, they shift to the right side and boom, there it is. Your heart is beating on the right side. Your liver sits on the left, your stomach and spleen completely reversed. This is called situs inversus. Your entire organs develop in a perfect mirror image of standard human anatomy. And yet, the craziest part is that you are entirely healthy, living every single day inside a mirrored map of biology.
Other times, the blueprint itself is fundamentally reshaped, which is exactly what we see with EEC syndrome. Your hands look different from everyone else's, often missing those central digits and forming a deep claw-like cleft. Your teeth develop late, your skin tears super easily, and your tear ducts don't drain properly. EEC syndrome doesn't just target one organ, it reshapes the entire blueprint of your limbs, skin, hair, and face. Yet what's truly amazing to me is how we humans adapt. You learn brand new ways to grip objects, process the world, and completely redefine what normal function looks like in a body designed outside the norm.
Now we move into Section 3, the body's invisible wars.
Okay, we're shifting to a much darker side of genetics here, where missing enzymes and confused immune systems wage a devastating, quiet war against you. Take trimethylamine, for example, which is often known as fish odor syndrome. Imagine that no matter how many times you shower, scrub, or change your clothes, a sharp, pervasive odor just follows you everywhere. You eliminate seafood, eggs, and dairy from your diet, but nothing changes. Why? Well, your body simply lacks the enzyme needed to break down trimethylamine, a compound that produces a really pungent fish-like smell. Unable to process it, your system forcefully expels it through your sweat, breath, and skin. While it's completely physically harmless, the inability to process this compound is socially devastating. It forces you to master the art of keeping your distance in a world built on close proximity.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how devastating a single missing enzyme can be. Which brings us to Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. You start noticing the signs early on. It's this strange, undeniable impulse to bite your own lips, chew your fingers, or even strike your head against the wall whenever stress hits. Listen, it's not a tantrum, it's a reflex. Your brain is firing commands your conscious mind never authorized. You desperately want to stop, but your body just won't let you. All of it traces back to one missing enzyme. Without it, your brain chemistry spirals totally out of control, building up uric acid kind of like a shaken soda bottle. Your joints burn, your emotions spike, and the world assumes you're dangerous, completely unaware of the quiet war you're fighting with your own nervous system every single second.
But perhaps the most terrifying invisible war is fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, or Stoneman syndrome. Let's walk through this cascading progression together. Step 1, you trip over a curb and bruise your shoulder. It swells, turns a bit sore, and then it hardens. You probably think it's just scar tissue, right? Until step 4 hits. The joint stops moving completely. Months later, a surgeon tries to operate, only for the surgical incision to ignite a catastrophic immune response. Basically, your body has decided to repair every single minor bump and injury by, well, converting soft tissue directly into solid bone. Muscles, tendons, and ligaments gradually fuse together like a suit of natural body armor. Every single bruise becomes a new construction zone.
The horrifying psychological reality of FOP is just absolute. Eventually, your arms lock in place, your jaw freezes shut. You are slowly, literally, becoming a living statue, trapped inside a cage built by your very own immune system. The betrayal of your own biology is total. Let's move on to our final segment, Section 4, the danger of invincibility. Let's look at a condition that sounds like the ultimate comic book dream, but is actually a complete biological nightmare. I want you to imagine putting yourself in the shoes of someone experiencing this. You don't remember ever crying when you fell as a child. You could touch a burning hot stove or even break a bone and feel absolutely nothing more than just a mild pressure. You have congenital insensitivity to pain, or CIP. Now, to everyone else, this sounds amazing, right? You're practically invincible. You never have to suffer. But let's look at what's really happening under the surface.
Here is the truly terrifying reality. Without pain, your body completely lacks its primary defense system. Think about it. You don't limp when your ankle is injured, which means you just keep walking on it until the joint is utterly destroyed. You don't flinch away from a hot stove or a sharp blade. But worst of all, you cannot feel internal illnesses developing, like appendicitis or a severe, life-threatening infection.
You are completely blind to the damage happening both inside and outside of your own body.
So, it becomes vividly clear that invincibility doesn't actually mean safety, it just means you never hear the alarm when your body starts to burn. Pain isn't a punishment, folks, it is the ultimate human survival tool. Without it, a perceived invincibility is actually a fatal flaw, leaving you entirely vulnerable to a world that is constantly, accidentally, trying to cause you harm.
Which leaves us with this final thought. Today, we've explored the miraculous, the visual anomalies, and the downright terrifying realities of genetic mutations. Our DNA is an incredibly delicate, millions of years old balancing act. So if you could flip a switch right now to alter your own human blueprint, to gain a superpower or maybe erase a perceived flaw, would you truly want to risk the terrifying trade-offs? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you fascinated by the incredible yet fragile machinery of your own genetics. Catch you next time.